very this is a very beautiful moment where I forgot to unmute myself. So this is the second time I'm still grasping for words and I have no story, no conclusion. So at the very least, there's not much to repeat, but it's incredibly sad. Usually when there's something about writer's block, there's tips, advice, some ideas trying to ruffle up the minds. And I only have this one question: now what? So there is going to be done absolutely no writing. There are just going to be words thrown around, some ideas, nicht so knackig, not particularly spicy, not particularly anything. As you see, this is a writer's block. So I'll take a few moments to switch a tab, click on something, and end up with a definition for comedy. Wonderful, not exactly something I expected. So we have decided on a comedy, and I decide it's a no. Let's travel to the ancient times, because there's one thing I was very particular about that I would very much like to see this cover, but I have no words, no anything, just vague vibes and ideas and a not working map option. This isn't gonna be about modern times. This isn't gonna be about yesterday times. It's about a time long, long before that even Jesus can be considered a modern idea. So click on stuff and wonder what's going on. We have a tree. We have a tree. Imagine the screen, which is perfect because there's another thing that makes me think what I would like to introduce this little vibe of solar punk. So imagine this of a city, so grand, so beautiful, getaucht in Licht and Wunder. I imagine there's not going to be much else, just a bit of wonder, just a bit of confusion, and lots of questions of how the green, the little bit of desert, the light, the water plays into the ancient times of Ur. Oh, we got Uruk, which is not the same as Ur. But I like to have my mind wander when we visit the place 2000 before Christ. So old that we can talk about Babylon, Mesopotamia, Assyria, so long that instead of this trümmer, these stones, this desert, the signs, the tracks, this emptiness, there's a bustling city of light. And there's green, mind you, the green doesn't want to leave me. Same way as the comedy tries to strike. We got Eritrea is Sumeria. We got another stone. Stones and desert. But keep in mind, why is it going back? Why is it doing this to me? Why? At this point, I'm just gonna do this. And no, I don't want this. Sometimes it's a writer's book is about wandering and not reaching any kind of word or any kind of conclusion. It's just a few words and utmost silence because I'm scared of putting on any kind of music. Some people think about copyright strike. I think about the ads because here I don't have the ad blocker that, and I'm not switching to the browser with the ad blocker. Besides, sometimes we're just gonna suffer in silence and wonder in the map, where the hell am I? Because in this sonnengetauften Stadt von Ur, in this sunlit city, and in the near the lake, and near another city, Nasiriyah, we have the great ziggurat of Ur. However, say what Nasiriyah has. Sometimes it's just wandering, skipping from one photo to another, and wander among the trees if I can find a word to describe this, of a sunlit city, of going through the Euphrates River for the transport. It's less about technology, it's about the ancient times, but looking at the perspective of today, each thought might have been a new idea. So let me wonder about the architecture, on how to keep the coolness, how cities could be built to keep the cool without electricity, because there's the sun but there's no electricity, and yet still everything works. Makes me wonder, there was also a princess in this desert, in this place, who established the first museum, and I'm still playing with historical facts, but that's not where I'm aiming for. I want to play with dynamics. I want to have a vibe. I want to play around and discover something new, and maybe be enchanted. And it doesn't matter if it's a story, it doesn't matter if it's a fanfic, which, for the record, I'm still thinking about making an update, and this is going to take a long way to reach that. And sometimes I'm just sitting here thinking about how lit everything is, looking for some bright spots, looking for some dark spots, looking for a little bit of green, thinking about stuff, and no words are forming. Mind you, I look at this and wonder, where is the story? Who is going to kill someone? Who's going to fall in love with? And that's boring. So I'll switch it up and think, okay, it's the ancient times where I want to feel the air. I want to see the steps. I want to saw something. It's me not here. So we have a solar punk, but there's one thing that I wanted. Let's say 2000 BC, Babylon. No technology, only myths closer to Gilgamesh and Kido, Inanna, the Klage of Ur, von Ur. So that was the script of, I think, the goddess of Ur, bemoaning the fate, the tragedy of the city being destroyed. But again, I haven't read that. There's lots of stuff I'm stumbling around in the dark. Sometimes I'm trying to figure out the kinks in a story. Sometimes I'm thinking about the fanfics. And recently, maybe of The Witcher, closer to fantasy, and yet, because usually you put together ancient times in a fantasy-like city, how about making a futuristic point? Which one was it? So let's think farther. Again, there are no words mixed with it. There's only some visions, some ideas, and this cool place. Let me see if I can open it. Can I not? It's so small, like my idea. So let's say we have the sunlit days to turn one by one into the dark of the night. But it's not dark as in some black. It's the green that comes through the windows. It's the violet that sings along. There's nothing else to say. Sometimes a river of violet. Sometimes it's just that and nothing else. And it makes me wonder, maybe not of a rose. How the hell do I know? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not a word. It makes me think maybe this is where someone I would stumble upon. And being vague, because this is sometimes what the writer's block is. It's vague. You're asking yourself, what now? And now what? Not sure if it's an inversion fitting here. Not sure if the words are fitting here. Not sure if the now is now or the what is what. Sometimes you're just playing in silence. Sometimes not even the music works. Sometimes you think, is this the dynamic I want in this islands of your mind? So let's try again. We come back. But as much as I would like to discover more of this place, I don't know what to do anymore. I want to have the protagonists. I want to have a dynamic. And to have the plot line of the enemies turn friends, of friends. Sometimes handling a heartbreak. Again, I'm switching my tones. Maybe it's the bard Jaskier singing a tune, not at the ziggurat of Ur, but maybe it's Jaskier sitting in a lounge or in Ave of a city that he would never see, of a friend he wouldn't see, which is considered really funny, seeing how I never even played, didn't even read the books. I am vaguely basing on some prompts and ideas and fanfics. I have some dynamic of friends. Maybe I just want to switch between fan fiction, reality, history, centuries, suns, moons. This makes me wonder if I could find something else. And I don't think I will be able to. Sometimes you just sit around, have suggestions, let suggestions work, and think, what? So I switch back to another tab and think, nah, that's definitely not it. So something's missing. Something's missing in this. It's a music. It's music that's missing. But again, I'm kind of scared to pull it off without ads scaring me in my own little journey. So there's going to be a tune. And it makes me think of Clair Obscur. Because why not? For the record, there's lots of stuff that I am fascinated by, but I still haven't played, haven't watched it. But I listen to Lumiere. It makes me think. Let's say we have the Eiffel and the blurred picture. And this is where the song begins. Because sometimes a song is a good beat. So I have still a vague song, silence, some solar, some place, and a question of now what. And sometimes writer's block is just an iteration of all of it. And that's the wonder. Now what?